find out more about this, you find more and more subtleties that you can discover and enjoy.
Right.
So
Which
it's multi-angular
Which
music.
is true of classical music in general. It's
Yes.
not something that, just a quick tune that you then...
Particularly being contemporary music.
Yes, indeed.
Yes.
So again, thank you so much for coming. And I want to thank my audience, but do stay tuned because we're going to have a very special program or coda to this program in which I will speak via Skype to Israel Kremen, the composer. We're now going to be joined by the composer of Kaleidoscope, Israel Kremen, who's talking with me over Skype, that wonderful modern technology. He is present in Pittsburgh, and here I am in the studio in Pleasantville. So welcome, Israel, to this program.
I studied to compose music when I was 11, when I was sick and tired of playing scales and everything, and I talked to my piano teacher, I'm quitting, it's too boring, I want to compose music. And she took my hand when I was in music school for children in Leningrad, and she brought me to the young man, about 30, who started to teach composition to children like me. And he listened to me, he started to teach me how to compose melodies and all the stuff, and I couldn't produce my music. And he said, you see, you must study piano. And I had a new reason to study piano well, and I went to my piano lessons and started to study and started to compose. So from 11 years old, I'm composing, and then music college and music conservatory. And the last one is University of Michigan in Ann Arbor. I made my PhD. It's Leslie Bassett, professor.
Do you compose at the piano or do you compose away from the piano?
Kind of both. Yes, I compose at the piano, but the first musical thoughts and development come to my mind wherever I am. Okay? But I'm finishing all of this at the piano.
I understand. Now, kindly share with our audience how you came to the word, the name Kaleidoscope, and the entire conception of these, 25 pieces? Is that correct?
Yes. Something should be different from well-tempered clavier and Shostakovich cycles. So I decided to be original and make 25. No, I'm kidding, but Kaleidoscope was the word I came because my preludes and fugues I see like pictures at exhibition by Mussorgsky, characteristic pieces. Okay,
yes.
It's not like an exercise for keyboard like Bach wrote. This is why I came with the word kaleidoscope, because every piece shows different character, written in different character, used in different folk songs and all this stuff.
Yes, it's very interesting what we've heard so far, and of course Irena presents it so really very special. So what are some of the themes that they came to you over how long a period of time were you writing this?
That piece is kind of encyclopedia of my music. I took some melodies from early works, some pieces I composed, some pieces I developed absolutely differently from my old pieces. It started with my two preludes and fugues in G minor and B flat major, not prelude, just fugues, which I wrote in St. Petersburg Conservatory when I was a student. And in 2002, one piano teacher where I teach, she asked me to give her something to play for her recitals. And I gave her two preludes and two fugues. And when I listened to them, I thought, no, this is not just an exercise. This could be a real piece of music, composition. So and I decided to develop this idea, and I come up with all 25, the whole cycle of that, combining everything, all the new ideas.
That's very wonderful. You know, I have a close friend who owns kaleidoscopes. Are you familiar with kaleidoscopes?
Yes, this stuff. Yeah.
Well, right, and he owns some exquisite ones, and so it's a very intriguing name that you gave to this piece, and I think wonderfully appropriate. We haven't talked on my program about the person who did the design, is that something I should speak with Irena about, especially the design of your recording?
Yeah, I do not know who designed, but he did fantastic job.
Yes.
I love it.
Right.
And one thing more about Kaleidoscope. In Kaleidoscope, if you know, the pictures are never ending. They go on again and again and again and come back to the first one. And the same is my composition. It ends with the music which it starts, the first prelude. This is why I came with the word Kaleidoscope.
I see, and it's the Goldberg variations works that way to some degree. Is that correct?
But variations, there are variations on the theme, on one theme.
And
I do not know whether the end comes to the beginning. And by the way, Bach sent it to the science society of that city and never received the answer. And this is a good question: why Johann Sebastian Bach sent this exact composition for this to this society in the city where he lived? And when I made my PhD at the university, I tried to figure out it, and one journalist, musicologist, found out why he did it. We will not spend time now, but it's very interesting work.
Excellent. So let's essentially finish up with your understanding. First of all, the question that I have again is this your first full recording of one of your compositions?
This is a good question. About that composition, this is the first recording. And Irena was the first performer, and she was wonderful. She surprised even me, the author. Because in my head, I heard it differently, but she surprised me, and it was a very good surprise. Okay.
I understand.
But in 1984, here beside me, okay, is a record which Orion Records produced in 1984, released. This is an old record, okay? And they produced it with my chamber music.
Try not to move around too much, okay?
Okay.
Yes. So you had chamber music with Orion Records, is that correct?
1984.
Good. And you know that Irena had a celebration at the Westchester Conservatory of Music.
I couldn't come.
You could not come. Okay, but I understand it was a very great success. Is there anything you'd like to add to our interview before I graciously say thank you and goodbye?
I must add that the secret of it, I knew Svetlana Garachovich, which you mentioned, yes?
Yes.
Who you mentioned before. And I didn't know Irena at all. So I gave my score to Svetlana Garachovich, and when she said, I'm busy, another young, very beautiful pianist will play your piece. I was surprised and I was a little bit scared. When I met Irena the first time, just a few months before, probably 1 month before the premiere, and she played me so wonderfully my music, I was surprised besides any words I can express. And I'm very grateful to her, because one thing is to play one prelude and fugue, but to play the whole piece, to learn it, and to be so enthusiastic about it, I don't have enough word to say thank you to Irena.
Well, that's wonderful, and I want to express my thanks to you for being on this program, which will be ultimately edited and put on the internet and seen on television. So it's my great pleasure to have met you, and thank you so much for being with us.
It's my pleasure, Mr. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Bye-bye. We've met you as the performer. We met Sergei as the audio person. We met Israel Kremen, most importantly, the composer. But you would like to talk about the person who designed Kaleidoscope. So share with our audience.
Yes, I would like to talk about the person who did, I think, one of the most important parts in this project is visual presentation. I think everyone who is going to listen to my short story is going to be astonished because the designer who helped me with the CD, his name is Facundo Porras, and he lives in Argentina. So basically, I've never met him. But he was the person who designed my website, and also we worked on the Chopin Etudes CD project with him. So I've known him from some other tasks that we completed, and I have to tell that he's one of the most wonderful professionals in his field. He's very intuitive, and when I send a request to him, I know that first of all he is able to read between the lines, and he understands me perfectly. And he also is able to take the idea further into direction that I would be happy with. So, having said that, I took the music of the Kaleidoscope, a couple of different preludes and fugues, and I sent it to him. And I also described a little bit of my feeling about this music. And the very first design that he came up with, now that we see as a result.
So that's very important, to work with a creative person who can understand you.
Absolutely.
In a very, if I may say, intimate way, although it's over, it's over electronics. So it is a very beautiful recording. And you wrote extensive notes, which people can read. And so thanks for sharing about
yes,
this
absolutely.
fourth stool of the recording, the designer.
Yes, absolutely. I have to say that I've been in this project and in my during my first CD work, I was surrounded by the stellar team of wonderful professionals,
Excellent.
very high-skilled professionals.
Excellent.
So I'm really lucky.
Great.